Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Legacy is an organisation that started off a promise that was made in the battlefields of Pozieres 100 years ago in the trenches of the First World War. The legacy promise was made by a soldier to his dying mate to look after his family. This has now evolved to a promise to look after the missus and the kids. The significance of this torch relay comes from the torch of sacrifice, which was accepted by legatees in 1923 and has been passed down through generations as legatees make their promise to uphold the values of legacy. Today, the torch is something legacy is renowned for, and that is also in the legacy badge. This incredible relay has been 3 years in the making, and I am proud to be standing here with all of you to share this in historical moment as the torch has finally made it to us here in Inverell. I would like to invite our first speaker, Sophie McWhirter. Please welcome Sophie.
Good morning. My name is Sophie McWhirter. I am a Bachelor of Education student. I am also a legacy beneficiary and the proud daughter and youngest child of Ian McWhirter, a veteran. He's standing right over there, head down. My dad served 12 years as a carpenter in the Royal Australian Air Force. During these 12 years, he undertook overseas deployments to Bougainville, East Timor and Afghanistan. Although I was the youngest, I remember being upset about Dad leaving again and giving him hugs before he would go, and the missed hugs while he was gone. I specifically remember the time he had to go for a more extended period, and he promised us when he came back he was going to take us all to the pet shop to pick out a kitten. Trust me, I made him follow through with that promise. And we still own that cat to this day. Whenever we talk about that cat, we think back to the promise that Dad made before he left. It was after my father left the Defence Force that we moved to Inverell. Our family was going through a tough time with the drought and caring for my older brother who was and still is struggling with mental health issues. When my family was connected to Legacy was a great support to both me and my family, providing us with opportunities as well as financial support. During my senior years of school, Legacy provided me with a laptop to complete my studies and financial support. Further, Legacy was a massive support for me, and when I moved away from home and started my Bachelor of Education degree, with Legacy support, I was able to focus on my studies without the financial stress of affording textbooks and other study materials. Along with this, Legacy supported me in keeping up with the extracurricular activities I love. I have been lucky enough to be selected by Legacy for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in September this year to partake in the Kokoda Trail, our challenge to their legacy. This trip is a 9-day hike of the Kokoda Trail where I will walk trails that hold high historical significance and a trek that holds many stories of the past. There are 21 to 16 to 25-year-old Legacies beneficiaries participating in this trek, with the support of 5 Australian Air Defence Force members. I have already participated in a meeting where I got to introduce myself to others participating in this trek. I got to hear snippets of other veteran family stories and how Legacy has supported them. Through opportunities like this and other opportunities that I have been presented with through Legacy, I have been able to meet and connect with other veteran families and share my story and appreciate my dad's commitment to the RAF. A big part of my teenage years has been with the Inverell Australian Air Force cadets, led for the past 10 years by my dad and mum. The Inverell cadets are supporters of Inverell Legacy Branch, and I will carry the torch in the relay today, supported by 2 Inverell Australian Air Force cadets, Cadet Sergeant Temi DJ Ojo and Cadet Sergeant Kai Douglas. Today has a huge significance to me and many others. Legacy supports many families worldwide and has changed many lives. Today we celebrate 100 years of this support and reflect on the role Legacy has played in supporting families of our Australian veterans. We acknowledge all the work that the staff and volunteers within Legacy play to ensure the support has continued for 100 years. Today is a day to reflect on Legacy's role in our community, and it is my honour to carry the torch for them today. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story, Sophie. I would now like to invite the Mayor of Inverell Shire Council, Paul Harmon, to say a few words.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. And like Sophie, it is truly an honour to be here today, to be part of such a wonderful event and something that literally only happens once every 100 years. And it is certainly a great, significant day for our community, but also for all those returned veterans and all the families of legatees who are here today. In my role as Mayor, I get to attend a lot of events along with my wife Anna. And today certainly is one of those significant days which holds more significance to us than people probably realise. So today I want to share with you some of my family story. So Alexander John Goss, he was my great-grandfather. He fought with the 12th Battalion in France in the First World War. My grandfather, James Maxwell Stewart, he fought in New Guinea, in Rabaul, in the Second World War, attached to the 2nd Commando Division. Then I switched to my aunts and uncles. My uncle John Harmon, 20 years service with the RAF as a parts supply. My auntie Colleen, sitting here today, 17 years in the RAF and was a nurse and had the rank of sergeant. Her late husband, Richard, 22 years as a RAF flight sergeant. My other uncle, Barry Aiton, 15 years in the RAF in parts supply. My brother Craig, 34 years in the RAF, wing commander, 2 tours to the Middle East. My father, 27 years as in legacy, who today is actually in Ypres in Europe, so very significant today. So my community service has been involved in being on council, but also as an Apexian. And I was 15 years in Apex, and we stand here today at this wonderful monument that I was an instigator to actually start this off in 2005, where, and if you pardon the pun, when I used to drive past here every day, it looked like no man's land. And so we decided we'd need to do something to actually make this significant, because today we're standing where over 100 years ago these Kurrajong trees were planted to remember those men who actually fought and did not return to Inverell. So it is very much a great pleasure today to be part of today, and I'm very proud and honoured to be part and to be asked to be part of this day, and I thank you very much for the opportunity and very humbled. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you for your support of Legacy. I would now like to invite Graham Boyd, CEO of Legacy Australia, up to light the first torch that will be held by Mayor Paul Harmon, along with Caitlin Shepherd and her 3 children, Scarlett, Sterling and Vivian, to cut the ribbon.
Now declare the Inverell component of the torch relay officially open.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to all that have participated today in the Legacy Centenary Torch Relay 2023, presented by Defence Health. We hope that you have all enjoyed the experience, and we thank you for your support.
A wonderful day for Legacy. Great to see the school kiddies here as well. 23 years ago, folks, we had the Olympic torch through Inverell. And I guess the people, the torchbearers of that day, would be no prouder than the torchbearers of today when they had the chance to carry the torch for the Legacy Centenary. Before I forget, I want to thank the volunteers who assisted our walkers today. Thank you, Janelle. Where's my walker? She did a great job. The companion walkers as well, and everybody who's assisted with an historic day, as I said. So my association with the Legacy, and I said this on the radio this morning, my dad died in 1970. He was a returned man. He died in a house fire here in Inverell. Our family lost everything that day, and clothing and everything, furniture. That's when Legacy came good. They came and saw us within the next 3 or 4 days, took us down to get new clothes, school materials and things like that, and obviously assisted Mum with housing and that sort of stuff. So I must admit I hadn't heard of Legacy before that. Our first legatee was a Mr. Fletcher. He was a wonderful man. So we wanted for nothing in those 18 months. So I was 16 at the time. At the end of year, so I was in year 11 or 50 it was then. So in year 12, at the end of year 12, I didn't know what I really wanted to do. I saw an ad in the Sydney Morning Herald for a job in Sydney at the Department of Motor Transport. And I thought, that looks like a good job, but how am I going to get there? Economically, we weren't very well off. Legacy came good again. So Legacy not only flew me down there and put me up, flew me back as well. And I did get the job as it turned out. But I always think back, without Legacy's financial assistance to us at that time, I probably would never have started my working career in such fashion. I know that as a younger sister and myself left home, Legacy looked after Mum. She loved the bus trips, Daniel O'Donnell, and trips out to Blue Knobby and all that sort of stuff. So, and they were always there. We always had a legatee looking after us. So I guess my message, or my involvement, my story is no different to what Legacy around Australia does for people each and every day, and the way they look after them. Everybody's got a story to tell about Legacy. I just hope that the younger generation continues to understand what Legacy has done for 100 years and will continue to do. As I look around the world and the unrest, I think we'll also always have, unfortunately, people going away to defend our country, and they will leave loved ones behind, and I know Legacy will assist them in years to come. So once again, thank you for the opportunity today on behalf of the 22 torchbearers. It was a wonderful occasion, and thank you once again to Star FM for supporting this historic day. And thank you to Defence Health Australia for your wonderful work. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I would now like to invite Graham Boyd, CEO of Legacy Australia, to say a few words.
Just coming on as the rain's coming down. It's been a great time with the weather, really, until just this very moment. So anyway, look, it's a great pleasure to be here. And as a result of the First World War, Legacy was born. Legacy is, it bequeaths something. Legacy was bequeathed to the nation. The ethos of Legacy was founded on mateship formed in the trenches of World War I, banded together and took up a legacy of care for the welfare of the widows and children of their many comrades who were killed during the war or died subsequently. Legacy is a name that for 100 years has represented a huge responsibility, as I mentioned before, bequeathed to the nation. Legacy's people have, in love and mateship, been there for tens and tens of thousands of children, and have been informal loco parentis to children to meet spiritual, emotional and material support when war has claimed lives and impacted families. Today, Legacy looks after both widows and widowers and has 40,000 enrolled beneficiaries. That includes 1,200 children and youth and 1,000 with long-term special needs. And Legacy is supported by 3,400 volunteers called Legatees. There's about 60 of them here in Inverell, plus thousands of other volunteers in addition to those Legatees. And this year, as you are well aware, Legacy commemorates 100 years of service to the families of the Australian Defence Force members who have given their life or health in service of our country. An aspect of this commemoration is, of course, the Legacy Centenary Torch Relay 2023 presented by Defence Health. There are other things, like there's a stamp out there about Legacy. There's a limited edition coin, for example, as well. The Legacy Centenary Torch Relay 2023 presented by Defence Health, it's a 6-month program with various relays that have come from the battlefields of Pozieres, France, which was lit, that flame, on April 23rd, just before Anzac Day. The torch has already travelled to the Menin Gate, Belgium, and throughout the streets in the City of London, where the King was actually presented with a torch, before it returned home to Australia, landing in Albany, West Australia, early last month. Kim Beazley, who is the chair of the Australian War Memorial and former Governor of West Australia, was the first torchbearer in Albany. Kim's mother was brought up by Legacy. And while, as I mentioned before, there was a torch given to the King, I have to say a similar one of those torches is very soon about to be presented to the Legacy Club here. The torch is continuing its journey throughout local towns and cities across Australia, and it's visiting all 44 Legacy Club locations, concluding in Melbourne, which is the home of the first Legacy Club, in October 2023. The torch has 100 stops, carried by 1,300 torchbearers, many of whom are here today, thank you torchbearers, and supported by 1,500 volunteers who are also here today. And legatees have carried the torch of service and sacrifice handed down from legatee to legatee since the Great War. This year's torch relay is about remembering as well as fundraising. And Legacy's very fabric remembers, cares and stands behind families impacted by the cost of service. Thank you to all members joining us today from the Australian Defence Force. You'll see them all around here, up the back there. A special mention to Colonel Carrigan, Lieutenant Colonel Murray Duckworth, thank you Murray, and Corporal Alison Squirrel, wherever Alison is. Over there. Oh, hi Alison. Your support has helped us make this event a grand success. A warm thank you to our other many stakeholders from Inverell that made today possible. That includes the Inverell Shire Council, Inverell Police, loved all their flashing lights back in, both sides, and everyone in between. A special thank you to Sophie McQuirter, who shared her legacy story earlier today, and thank you to Mayor Peter Harmon for his support to Legacy. A big thank you to the team from Perfect Events. Of course, they're the ones in the red, not the kids, but the ones in the red there, who really have pulled together an incredible relay. This is also the team that will be with us for the next 5 months as we head off down to Melbourne. To all the torchbearers, congratulations on being part of today's relay. We're so proud of you all and thank you for making today such a special event. To the many volunteers who gave their time to make today happen, thank you so much, and we wouldn't be able to do things without you. A special mention to Inverell Legacy and the team also at Legacy Australia. Your commitment to honouring the Legacy Centenary through this particular event, this commemorative event, will allow Legacy to keep the promise alive for the next 100 years. A special mention to all our key partners, Defence Health, BAE Systems, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Australian Defence Apparel, Europcar and Thales. Thank you for your support. We cannot wait to continue sharing this historical journey with everyone who's here today. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Graham. I would like to invite Legatee Rick Ellis, President of Inverell Legacy, to say a few words and to open a new Legacy Memorial.
Thank you, Mal. Good afternoon, legatees, beneficiaries, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. My sole purpose of my speech today is to thank some people that haven't been thanked. I'd like to thank all the organisations in Inverell that have made this day a total success, and in particular the Sapphire Wind Farm and CWP Renewables for their community benefit grant to repaint the units. As you will see, it's the same colour as the top of the RSM Club. Errol Lee Construction for laying the cement slab at no cost. Yepman Stone for donating the 7-tonne block at no cost, and transport here at no cost. Cameron's cranes for lifting the sandstone block into place at no cost. Sapphire Sitting Engineering for manufacturing that wonderful torch made here only in Inverell. David Grant, Vice President of Legacy, for all the work he's put into organising this block of stone, this and the torch. Thank you. Inverell RSM Club for the loan of the bus for today. Thank you very much. Jerry, Mal and the whole of Star FM team for their extensive promotion and live coverage of the relay, which they've been doing for months. A very special thank you. Shylar at Gem FM for promoting the relay and all other media organisations that have run stories. Pamela Holton, who delivered promotional flyers, listen to this, to every home in Inverell. Wow. Thank you. Catalogue deliverers, Kelvin, Kerry, Caitlin Barr, Michael Everhard, Mark Davis, Logan Cox, Pamela Holton, who delivered promotional flyers, listen to this, to every home in Inverell. Thank you. Betty Hawkins and Leah Sharp were selling merchandise today. All the legatees who have been involved in making this a successful day, my personal thanks. Thank you to one and all for your support to Legacy. I'd now like David Grant to officially light the 100th anniversary Inverell torch. Thank you, David. I now declare the Inverell Legacy 100th anniversary torch and monument open. Could everybody please be upstanding, and those that can't, remain seated, please, for the Legacy Ode. Fear not that you have died for naught. The torch you threw us, we caught, and now our hands will hold it high. Its glorious light shall never die. We've learned the lesson that you taught in Flanders fields, lest we forget.
I've been invited up. Yes. This is, I mentioned before, one of these torches was given to the King. Another one of these torches was given to the Australian government in Villers Bretonu. And here's another one that has been given now to the club here as a perpetual memory of this day, to remember, of course, the torch represents service and sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you. And I say thank you to Legacy Australia, because this is worth $10,000. Thank you. That concludes the ceremony.
Legacy. Great, lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'll give you a hand up in a minute, sweetie. Thank you.
You know, I was there one day and this is